In the early days, it was pretty simple. The translation between IT was performed by the systems analysis. The systems analysis would basically ask the users, what do you want? They would have some idea of how to do development and basically tell IT, this is what is needed. Over the last 50 years, though, IT has become complex. You have different types of systems. You have different ways of doing things. More and more, the users are understanding how technology works. They're no longer just, the end user who is going to learn how to use the technology given to them. They're going to have a say in what they want. They want a web-based thing. They want buttons to appear here. They want to basically have social media. They know how social media works for other companies or how certain processes work for other companies. So they want that. Information systems are viewed as products and users are now customers. So there's a new relationship between them. There is a service-oriented style to the management and delivery of products. And so we find that more specialization is required of professionals to bridge this gap. So what's the role of the users in bridging this gap? Every employee understands more technology than their counterparts 20 years ago. They're much smarter because they've grown up with this technology. For the last 20, 30 years, you were in an organization where you were given a PC. You were basically given software. And if you're a healthcare professional, you understood certain EMR applications over the last 10 years, like Epic or Eclipses. If you were in financial systems, you understood systems that in financial corporations, you understood things that dealt with, say, the Basel requirements or SOX requirements. These things would not be foreign, and so understanding PeopleSoft or SAP would not be foreign either. So technology is designed that understanding is more pervasive and skills are being taught at an early level. It's not irrational to believe that everybody who comes into an organization should have a basic set of skills, such as using the Microsoft Office suite or an internet browser or how to use an internet application or even social media if you're in a retail corporation. Complex transaction systems, though, are developed by professionals either inside or outside of the firm, and those things might be a little bit more specialized. Those might include logistics systems, things that you wouldn't see across industries in every organization. So your book presents a better model, and they suggest it should have four principal elements. That because of the complexity and the difficulty of implementing IT and the users' increased efficiency and understanding of technology, they say that the model should have the four elements, that it should have a set of technologies that represent the IT infrastructure installed and managed by the IS department, a set of users who need to use the IT to improve their job performance, a delivery mechanism for developing, delivering, and installing applications, and the leadership to manage the entire process of applying the technology to achieve organizational objectives and goals. The fourth one's actually pretty important because if there is no executive sponsorship of these programs or of these applications, it's not going to have a high level of success. And if users aren't involved in the implementation or in the principles of a system that's going to be put in place, they're going to reject the system because IT or technologists are basically ramming it down their throat. Conversely, if the users say, we want an application and we don't care whether it fits within the technology environment, the technologists actually feel the reverse. They actually feel that they're the ones who are having the technology rammed down their throat and have to figure out how to deal with it and deal with the problems when they arise. So your book provides this framework for IS management where you have essential technologies, system development and delivery, and the information workers who are basically somewhat of a bridge using the data, using the information for executive decisions or decisions that will lead up to executive leadership for strategies. The technologies, there are several forces that contribute to the increased importance and complexity of IT. Everything is growing rapidly. Okay, in terms of reduction and reduction in cost and size, we need to do more with less. So we want less servers, but we want more productivity. We want more efficiency. We need more processing power. Merging of disparate technologies. Pretty soon you have the iPad will probably be more pervasive than a PC or any type of tablets, and you will be able to say, I need to do everything from this tablet, which means I can do videos, I can do audios, I can basically do my word processing, what have you. And we need the ability to store and handle multiple forms of data. It can't just be text. It can't just be things that we put in a spreadsheet. It's going to have to include video clips, pictures, audio clips, and other types of unstructured data. So you're going to see new roles being put within the organization that will try and handle some of these and figure out what is the best way to do it for a given type of task, whether it be customer service, whether it be logistical support, whether it be nursing, or some other type of environment. So the users now, we have actually the automation of clerical work allows for workers to move from purely clerical to managerial. We used to have many workers who were clerical. They would just do repetitive tasks. But now we're asking more of those users because they're becoming more efficient because the computer or IT is handling a lot of the mundane tasks. So they're moving more towards a managerial, more knowledge base in their activities. Systems development and delivery has changed as well. The systems are built based on the technology resources, and they consist of the hardware and software, but there's maybe a telecommunications layer and information resources about the data. And that bridges the gap. These applications and these components bridge the gap between some core piece of technology and how the users actually use the application and get information to make decisions. It's all about creating the right environment for knowledge-based decisions. IS management has changed as well. We have the role of a chief information officer. This person has to be high enough within the organization to influence the strategy and be a visionary to say, I understand where the business is going, I understand where the technology is going, and therefore we need to implement these types of technologies in order to do that. The person must have the credibility to with their peers that they understand the technology and understand the business enough to be persuasive. They have to work with all the other leaders of the organization because IT cannot be left to the one individual. It has to be a partnership between the technology group and the business groups that they work with. Hopefully the executive team works together and works to govern it and leverage it well. In many cases, we've seen CIOs implement structures and governance that were not followed by chief financial officers or chief marketing officers who basically say, my department's not going to do that. You guys want to do that, that's fine, but we're not doing that. That is never a good scenario. So IT, especially over the last 10 to 15 years, has been given a seat at the director's table. And it's been given power in controlling budgets, not just their own, but obviously the budgets of other departments, because other departments are so reliant on IT. Controlling personnel. If HR or finance or marketing requires a new piece of technology that they're going to want for their department, the IT department may have to increase the number of personnel within its department just to handle that new application. A determination of project acceptance and priority. The chief marketing officer may want something, but the IT department may say, we have too many governance or regulatory items this year, we have to put that off another year. So in effect, they're impacting the priority of that department. And they really have a say in the future direction of the company because everything is so reliant on information technology. So this model does have four major components: the technology, the workers who do it, how we do the systems development and delivery, and how we manage all of these components together. And that is the key thing, is that the CIO must understand all of these pieces and have the right people in place to manage the right technology to deliver value to the business. Again, they have your book shows this, and this is basically the structure by which this will occur. In practice, we do find that IT organizations, however, are broken up into kind of four areas. There's an infrastructure management, which basically handles operations, telecommunications, help desk. You see an application development group. That group is responsible for making sure that we bring in new applications or we develop new applications, in some cases data warehousing. Sometimes you might see data warehousing split off of that, data analysts and other types of data applications. Support services include things like architecture, security, even business analysts may fall under that role, or quality assurance might fall under that role. And then project management is a group dedicated to making sure that capitalized projects that are put in place or that are created are managed properly according to the project management life cycle effectively. So that concludes the chapter 1, and we'll see you for chapter 2.